What up, YouTube? Oh man, back at it. I started this journey, and I definitely wanted to document it as I went along. There's a lot of things that I've learned that you absolutely need coming into the plumbing industry, especially if you're an apprentice. I'm gonna do another video about going over what it's like being an apprentice at 41 years old, coming into a plumbing industry that's dominantly millennials. The oldest person on our install crew is, I think, 28, and they go all the way down to 16 years old, and they're running shit. Big, they're good. They're good at what they do. They know. But this video, we're gonna be going over the tools you'll need that I did not know. I looked over YouTube, and there were some things that, that I saw that, tape measure, just a little basics, but they're all wrong. So what we're gonna get into today, if you wanna be a rock star when you get into the plumbing industry as an apprentice, these are some things that you may need to kind of shine. Not may, you will absolutely need to shine. And they don't tell you that, the tools, most people have the inclination that, you get hired, the company provides the tools. That's not the case. And these tools are not cheap, all right? So we'll go over some of the most important tools you're going to need first. First and foremost, you're going to need PEX cutters. This is to cut PEX, and your crimpers, right? Crimpers are gonna be your Ortica rings that go above the PEX and the fitting. For instance, if I have some fittings here, I think I do. All right, so this is 1/2-inch PEX, right? And then you have your 1/2-inch fitting, right? This is a T. So your fitting will go in here, and then you would take your, I have a 1/2 inch in there. Doesn't look like I do. All right, so I don't have a 1/2 inch, but we'll use a 3/4. So this is a 3/4 Ortica ring. This is what's used to crimp down. Obviously, this is a 1/2 inch hose. So you would need to use the crimpers to crimp this part, which tightens and keeps it seal proof. So crimpers and cutters are going to be your most important pieces. And don't get cheap ones. Trust me, get the most expensive ones you can find. Because when it comes to connecting, off your trunk lines, you're running 1/2 inch to each feature. So if it's a sink, toilet, shower, you're gonna be crimping maybe 400 to 500 of these daily, right, on a job. So just keep that in mind. Maybe not that much, but depending on how good you are and how fast you work, you'll be doing at least 200 to 300 crimps, and that's crimping and then cramping. It's all forearm muscle, right? You're gonna be doing a lot of that. So get the best crimpers you can find. I know Home Depot, which I like to call Home Cheapo, has some really killer deals. Now, when it comes to you leveling up and understanding plumbing, there's going to be advanced tools, right, that you're going to need. And these tools are gonna run you around $1,200. In most places, you don't have to get Milwaukee brand. Highly recommended. Milwaukee probably makes the best tools that you can use. The batteries are great. They have different levels. They have brushless, brushed tools, fuel, and that's what I have is fuel, brushless tools. So now this is an oscillator. This is going to be your everyday cutter, right? When you're getting into places that are hard to cut with the hacksaw or sawzall, this thing comes into play, and it works great. Great for drywall, cutting wood. I mean, this is your multi-tool. I mean, it's gonna cut basically anything and everything. And there's some tips and tricks on how to use this. But this is a Milwaukee oscillator or multi-tool, if you will. And these things are gonna run you about 100, 149, 150, 160 bucks, brand new. Batteries, M18. Right, these are going to be some of the best batteries you can get. And just so you know, this battery setup, Milwaukee, this thing's gonna run you anywhere from $149 to $300 bucks if you get the dual pack. And that's not even including the chargeable deck. That seats about 6 batteries. So depending on how advanced you get and how far you get, right, you'll have to upgrade. This is my first preschool starter Milwaukee kit. So we'll keep going through it. Batteries are important. Right now I only have one, obviously. So that's another $149. Next, you'll need an impact. These are important because you're going to be doing a lot of different things. This is fuel again. This tool right now, they have a Black Friday special, especially in Home Depot. And this one you could probably get for maybe under $100 right now. Once the deal's over, these things jump up to about 150. You'll need an impact driver. Next, you'll have your drill, fuel, Milwaukee. This is brushless. This is going to be insulated. These are the best things. Now, a lot of people don't understand the danger that's in plumbing. A lot of times, you know, you'll see galvanized line and you'll think, oh man, it's just water. And it's supposed to be. A lot of makeshift electricians have ran power lines sometimes through the galvanized wires. So you think you're cutting a water line and you'll tap in, you'll cut something that'll arc out everything, the whole house, right? Because it's high power and it's hitting, you don't know what it is. So it's important that you get an insulated cutting tool, whatever it is. So if it's a hacksaw, sawzall, make sure it's insulated. So that way you survive. There was an 18-year-old kid on our job that went to go cut a galvanized line. And lo and behold, it was powered with more than 220. It was powered. And it shut down the whole house, fried his tool. And if the kid did not have the brushless fuel insulated hacksaw, he would have been dead at 18. That's just real. So, and a lot of the times when you're drilling holes for stub outs to run your supply lines, you don't know what's underneath the floor. You know, 9 out of 10 times, you know, you should expect to run into some power lines. And it's important, again, to have the best tools when you're doing this type of work, because it's dangerous. It can be very dangerous. All right. Next, obviously you want your Milwaukee tape. 25 feet is going to be the best. Even these run about 60 to 70 bucks. Ratchet cutters, important. These are so important. Without them, you're not going to be able to cut any ABS, right? So very important to have when you're doing drains or drain repairs or drain repipes. Drill bits, these are important to have because you're going to be dealing with a lot of different stuff when you're installing washer boxes all the way down to running new service lines. You know, there's going to be different type of knuckles, bolts, etc. that you'll be able to spin through, which I have more than just that. I have quite a few of them, right? So these are important to have. All right, going into the next item. Milwaukee pipe cutters, right? This is important for working with copper. These are very, very cool, and they work really, really good. They have directional grip, so once you get it locked into the pipe and you start to spin it, it does the work for you. Better than the big handle ones, because a lot of the times when you're cutting copper with plumbing as an apprentice, you're going to be in a tight spot. So you need something that can just move around the pipe, give you about 1.5 inch clearance, and that's what these do. They work perfect. Again, this is gonna run you about $100. Okay. It looks like I do have a second battery, which is cool. So this was a $300 pack set that came with 2 batteries and 1 charger port. So batteries are good. Make sure you always charge these the day before. Worst thing to do is get on a job site and can't start work because your batteries are dead, right? So it's key every night that you get home, charge your batteries, be ready for work. All right, next, Allen key sets. These are very, very important. You're gonna be dealing with a lot of Allen key stuff. As you can see, I have multiple sets here, big, small, medium, and large. Very good. Husky's fine. You don't have to go crazy with Milwaukee if you can't afford it. These come in a set right here. Channies. These are just going to be your regular channels. Channy locks. These are flat gripped, so they don't have grip on them. These are the ones that have the teeth, right? The grip. So you need 2 sets. And there's, you know, obviously your finished channies. You don't want to be leaving a bunch of teeth marks on finished product. So you'll use the flat edged grips when you're tightening fixtures in the bathroom that are visible. Okay, and then obviously you're going to need a hammer. I have a little baby pipe wrench, which does me fine. Husky's fine. Like I said, you don't need to go crazy. If you got the money, cool. But a hammer's a hammer, a piper's a pipe wrench, right? Aluminum's probably going to be the best for you. That way it's not super heavy and you can actually work with it easier. Torpedo levels, important, right? Because everything you do, every cutout you do, you need to make sure it's leveled. So that way you're leaving a good looking surface once you do, let's say, a bathroom remodel and you're cutting out the wall. You want to level everything, all your cuts, so that way they're clean, sharp, look nice, professional, right? Customers don't want to see something that looks like this, or, you know, the angles are just weird. It doesn't leave a professional look with the client. And then I can't stress enough, screwdrivers. I went ham on the screwdrivers, and we got just, I mean, long, Phillips, short. I went all Husky. Yeah, so we got screwdrivers on screwdrivers on screwdrivers, right? All different purposes for different needs. Okay, and then a carrying case. You'll actually need a carrying case for all these tools. These tools just don't fit. I mean, you can fit them in a bag, but your bag's gonna weigh about 100+ pounds. And carrying that from location to location on a job site is it's taxing. So make sure you get a carrying case. You know, I have the Milwaukee pack out, which helps tremendously. Let me get these loaded back up. But again, you'll need something that's easy to transport from place to place, location to location, inside the house, and you're not banging up walls, etc. Right? And I'll show you guys my pack out. And then this is a pack out right here. Okay, and again, this is my starter kit. You can actually attach other pack outs on top of this for fittings, etc. So that way you're prepared. Once you get into the industry and you start to, you know, learn some stuff, it's better to have everything you need than need things that you don't have, right? So highly recommend it. You know, again, this box right here is going to run you about 150, you know, so again, that's going to be everything that you guys need to have coming into the plumbing trade as an apprentice. It's good to have it when you walk in the door because you just make yourself more useful. A lot of people have to wait their first 2 weeks for their first paycheck and, you know, start buying the tools that you need. At that time, you're just not, you're not as useful, right? And the leads are gonna appreciate somebody that shows up with the correct tools that they can train them on, and you actually help them close out jobs, because that's what it's all about, right? Jobs close, it builds revenue, etc. So again, if you're coming into the apprenticeship, make sure you come in with some tools. Don't be like me. You know, I was lucky to where, you know, I financially had a little bit to where I can get some tools to get myself off the ground. But, you know, it's a struggle, especially, you know, if you're an older apprentice like myself. I'm 41 years old. These are things that you should know. I work with a great group of guys and you know, for the most part, so, you know, they let me use a lot of their crimpers, cutters, etc., just to kind of help accelerate the finished product of a job, so that way they can close out, move on to the next. That's how the company gets paid, right? So to become an asset in a plumbing company that you're going into as an apprentice, make sure you have your tools already, and make sure you let them know in the interview, I have my tools. So if you don't know, I'll do a checklist in the bottom. I'll leave a checklist for you guys in the descriptions below, so that way you guys can tool up before, you know, going and filling out these applications. So that way you guys are 100% in the know and starting your career off right. All right. I'll be following this video with things you need to know about apprenticeship coming into the industry, which is going to be pretty pretty exciting. I mean, for you guys to know the truth, it's pretty wild. But until next time, signing off, Tavius Boone, the only black plumber in Idaho. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And then, yeah, leave comments, please. Give me some feedback. Until next time.